What is solar net metering on an on-grid solar setup? In an on-grid system, there are four major components: solar panels, the electrical loads, the bi-directional net meter, the on-grid inverter. Generally, the inverter is mounted on the wall near the distribution box. The on-grid inverter converts the DC electricity from the solar panel into AC electricity. The electrical meter placed by the utility company is replaced with a bi-directional meter. The bi-directional meter helps to read the imported and exported electricity units. Let's discuss a complete day's flow of electricity from morning till night and explain how the import and export of electricity works. In the morning, as soon as the sun is out, the solar modules start generating electricity. The first energy bar shows how much energy is being produced. Someone in the house wakes up and turns on the light. The second energy bar shows the amount of electricity consumed in the house. At this point, the electricity generated from the solar modules is more than the load requirement. So, the excess energy is exported to the grid. The third bar shows how much electricity is flowing in and out the grid. As the day progresses and the sun rises higher, the energy produced from the solar panels increases. Around noon, the system reaches its peak production. As the load in the house is way less than the energy generated, all the electricity is exported to the grid. The bi-directional net meter records the exported and imported electricity, which is produced at the end of every monthly billing cycle. The total bill amount will be total number of units imported from the grid minus the total number of units exported to the grid from the solar panels. The result is shown in net total display. The meter runs backwards while exporting electricity. The meter will not go below zero. You get a credit when the system exports more than it imports. In a net metering system, you will not get paid for your credit. The unit will be carried to the next billing cycle or written off. It's a hot day. The air conditioner is switched on. The consumption is high during this time. During the peak hours, the solar panels generate enough energy to run the AC with importing electricity from grid. Considering the same load on a cloudy day, where the solar panels don't generate to their full potential, then the utility grid compensated for the shortfall. Then the solar panels and the grid feed the house in tandem. Whenever the solar panels do not generate sufficient energy, the utility grid will supply the deficit. During the night, the solar panels do not produce electricity, and all the electricity is imported from the grid. We can always rely on the grid to supply the extra electricity needed, except during a power failure. When the utility grid fails, an on-grid setup will not operate, not even on solar power. This helps the utility people to work on the power lines safely. In an area with frequent power cuts, an additional battery backup setup is advisable to supply energy in case of grid failure. Now let us have a look how you save on your electricity bill. Let's assume solar panels generated 460 kilowatt-hour units energy, of which 300 kilowatt-hour units was consumed and 160 kilowatt-hour units were exported to the grid. You have a saving of 460 kilowatt-hour unit saving on your electricity bill. Every unit of energy produced or exported will result in a reduction in your electricity bill. To know more, contact Vihan Solar Energy, an authorized partner of Wari Energy Limited, India's largest manufacturer of solar panels.